Hey guys, Dave with Moneyology here. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. This is Sunday, January 28th, 2018, and this is the Biotech Sector Review, Part 1. We're going to do a series of videos, probably 3 or 4, looking through our 200 to 300 names in the Biotech watch list, and just select the ones that look like they're already breaking out or on the verge of breaking out, and kind of show you what we see. For those of you new to our videos, what we do is we take a look at the perspective from a weekly time frame, which removes some of the short-term noise. We are not day traders, and although you can make a significant amount of money if you catch these stocks that we're looking at in uptrends, ultimately what we want to see is we want to see 5-10 bagger returns, and the only way we believe we can do that is look at things from a longer term perspective with our unique methodology. But bottom line is this is for education purposes only, and please do your due diligence, and don't ask me for price targets because everyone's strategy is different, everyone's time frame and risk tolerance is different. So bottom line is this is for education, and let's take a look at what we've got here for our first part of the series. So we'll start with VERM Biotechnologies ADVN. Clearly this one has broken out above $5 this week, and the most important part for me and why I really like this opportunity is it hits on the main methodology that we like to see, which is you want to see MACDs at 3-year highs, this is what you have. You want to see RSI at 3-year highs. If you have that, you basically want to flip over and look at a monthly time frame to really get a better perspective on what's going on. Now, can this pull back to $5? Absolutely. But frankly, we would use that as another opportunity to buy. I mean, I think this is the type of chart that looks like it's headed to 10, 15, 20, possibly a gap fill all the way to $40 a share in the coming 12 months. So this is a tremendous looking opportunity, and it looks like it's just getting started. Now, obviously, it fell from about 42 just under 2 years ago, so this is really one to watch, and we think of all the ones that we're going to point out here, this has some of the best upside. Zentaris AEZS, this one is also interesting. It's consolidating here above the middle Bollinger Band. It's consolidating above the 50 on the weekly RSI, all positives. Now there are some negatives that don't fit our profile, but nonetheless, this is one that you want to look at. If this breaks above this $3 mark, ultimately I think that there's tremendous upside, 625 and possibly much higher thereafter. But you want to see the MACD start curling higher. Until they do, this is not one that you want to buy here. I would wait until it crosses this particular threshold to add or initiate a long position. Genomic Medicine GNMX, this one looks fantastic. This is another one that's just like it's very typical in the biotech space. You have some sort of bad news release, you collapse, you consolidate here, figure things out, and or perhaps realize things aren't as bad as they seem. And here we go again. So what do we see here? We've got MACDs that are approaching 3-year highs. Not quite there yet, but RSI is leading. So RSI is higher today on the weekly than it was when we were at 190 and higher again at $2. So that suggests that there's some significant momentum here in this price action. It's starting to get accumulated. The money flow index is very positive. Stochastics look good. And so if you want to add here, I think it's a good time to add or initiate longs. A breakout above 2, which coincides with the 50 weekly moving average, likely sends shares to 3, 4, but ultimately we think the gap fill will be filled between 5 and 6. How long that takes, I have no idea. Don't know much about the company, to be honest, but the chart itself looks fantastic. Affirmed Therapeutics AFMD, another one. So this one is interesting because it kind of had this pretty nasty drop a couple of months ago here, but this appears to be some bottoming action with some positive divergence in RSI. So this could really move, if nothing else, than just to fill this gap around $2. So the upside is there. It's not the best opportunity, but if you want to have a swing with a target of 2 with the stop loss right under that 125 zone, there could be some upside here in AFMD. Aldira Therapeutics ALDX, this one looks very good. The MACDs are set to cross 0 here, which is very positive development. It's consolidating above the middle Bollinger Band here, and it finally had this massive candle here, and it looks like it closed the week above that 60-61 area in RSI. So for us to go long here, we want to see a break above that $8 mark, but we think that once it breaks above that, and we think the probability is well over 75% that it will, the next price target here is $11.90 to $12. But this has the makings of a very good upside play in the not too distant future. ALQA Biomedical, ALQA, another one that's been in a downtrend here since 2016. It looks like the MACDs are curling up towards zero. The money flow is moving into a positive direction, and the MACD, or rather RSI, is creating this positive divergence, whereas price has been consolidating here. RSI is just slowly building. And so for us to go long, we want to see this trend line broken, but this is one you definitely want to keep an eye on for. AMRN Corp, AMRN. This is one that's been building a very solid base here since August of 16, and it looks like it's finally getting set to break for this next leg higher. It consolidated, didn't quite break out of that 70 mark, consolidated above the 60, but it found support, and we had a very nice weekly candle last week. And for us, we want to see this break $5, but ultimately this looks like it's on a stair-step pattern towards $6 to $7. This is one of those that might take a little bit longer, but it definitely appears like it's headed that direction. APHB, another one of our favorites on this particular watch list. It's got a number of things, a number of indicators that are hit basically all of our touch points. Well, one, the MACDs at 3-year highs, check. RSI is not at 3-year highs, but it's creating positive divergence here, and it's finding support at that level where it passed what was the last breakout point, right over here, and it found support here, and it's curling higher. That's very positive. It's basing here, and it's got positive divergence. So price didn't move all that much, but divergence is very much stronger today than it was, when it was at 115 months ago. Bottom line is, you want to see this break above the 150 zone once again, and then the likely price target is 360. But there appear to be a lot of sellers here, so every time it bounces, it falls back. But eventually, it's going to break out. The question is when. Next on the list is Anthera Pharmaceuticals, ANTH. Another one that has been in a nasty downtrend from high of 93 in 2015 to a low of 120 here last year. But it broke above this downtrend in basically that same point in August of 2017. It's been consolidating ever since. It double bottomed here at 120 area, but a double bottom with positive divergence. Look at here, 120 had RSI in sub 30. 124 had RSI above 30. That's very positive, especially that it held. Now it's rallying, and it looks like it's making a run towards a break of 50. That's going to be where the big move comes. But bottom line is, MACD's curled towards zero, and now they're curling back higher. Looks like this wants to run. We would feel pretty confident getting in at this point, and first price target really at 250, followed by about 450, and ultimately $10 to $20 is not outside of the realm of technical possibility. Obviously, do your due diligence to see if this is still possible, but from a technical standpoint, this looks like it has a lot of room to move. Finally on this list is APTO Biosciences, APTO. This one we called right here. We went long around that $1 mark, and we rallied all the way to 170. We sold some here. Eventually we started selling off because this broke back below this trend line, and of course it broke below it only to break above it, shook us out, consolidated here for a while, then boom, took off higher. And no surprise here, because this is the thing, from a weekly standpoint, very often these short-term moves are not as relevant, because in the long run you've identified a new uptrend. And so whereas we got out over here, we got a nice 50-70% gain, so nothing to complain about, but ultimately this is a 5-bagger potential that can move much higher. So there's some sell-off over here at around the 200 weekly moving average, but RSI looks very strong. It might consolidate for a little while, might even go back to the $2 range. I'm not sure. But ultimately, with MACDs at 3-year highs, RSI at 3-year highs, this is one that you want to own because there's going to be a tremendous upside, probably going into the teens before 2018 is done. Guys, thank you for watching this part 1, and stay tuned for part 2, part 3, either later on this afternoon or later on this week. I wanted to just turn your attention very quickly to the Patreon link below in the show notes, because we are officially relaunching our Patreon campaign. And what the Patreon campaign allows you to do is it allows you to support the work that we're doing, and we're trying our very hardest to create content free of charge to you, to educate you, to help you become better investors, and ultimately create a platform, a financial fitness and investment coaching platform that's different than kind of anything out there in the market. So your pledge of $10 or $25 would go a long way. Pledge of $10 would allow you to be a founding member of Moneyology. Pledge of $25 will allow you to get premium content, especially as I start hitting my 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000 K goals. It's going to allow me to create better content, hire better developers for the website, and ultimately do this full-time for your benefit. So appreciate it again if you can contribute and share with your friends, and ultimately this is for your benefit, so please send me your feedback. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day.